It's the Rodney Anderson Radio Show. And now, here's Rodney.
All righty, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. We have an action-planned hour for you, something that we've never had before, but everybody has the entrepreneurial spirit, and our special guest today, we'll introduce him in just a few moments, will be on Shark Tank tonight. You know, so many people watch Shark Tank on ABC. They watch the reruns on CNBC, and one of my assistants, Bruce, just said, that guy's going to be on Shark Tank tonight? All right, so our special guest today, he's got an amazing story. His name is Michael Ingle. He is from Minnesota, moved down here when he's 14, on Shark Tank tonight. Yeah. Is he going to get bought or is he going to not? He can't reveal that during the show. Oh. So we'll have a follow-up with him. A phone follow-up next week, if you don't mind.
Sounds good.
And that way we know where exactly you stand. But we're going to take him into the entrepreneurship, what it takes to be a serious entrepreneur, how to get onto Shark Tank, how to get on the television show, and which of the sharks were there, and which one did he like dealing with the most, or which one did he fear the most of the sharks? His name is Michael Ingle. Michael, you started your company for a while now, but your amazing story, because take us through our listeners, because you ran away from home when you were 14.
That's correct.
What? And ran away from home when he was 14. Wow. Take us through that.
You're not still at large,
but I did have $120 to start with.
Oh, so, $120. All right.
Yeah. $120 to start with.
I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas, and throughout my childhood we moved all the time and ended up in South St. Paul, Minnesota at the age of 14. And in Minnesota you can work legally, and so I worked at a hotel washing dishes and in the kitchen, and I was able to save a little bit of money, and I just knew that I needed to get out of the environment that I was in and figure it out on my own. And so I needed money to eat, and I wanted to get back to San Antonio. I figured I had a lot of family there, and maybe there was some potential new opportunities for me. And so I went down to the bus station, and I said, okay, I've got $120. I need money to eat. And so I said, well, how far down 35 will $80 get me? And they said, well, you want Dallas or you want Fort Worth? I said, well, give me Dallas. Right. And so I ended up in Dallas, Texas, and grabbed a phone book at the time, because there wasn't cell phones or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, those were the old days.
So no one had a laptop. And I knew that I had some family that lived in town, and so I looked up my aunt's name. Her name was Diane Ingle, and so I went through, and by the time I got to the 7th name in the book, I called her up, and I said, I don't know if you remember me or if you know who I am, but I'm Michael. I said, I'm just looking for a place to sleep and shower, and then try and get on my way. And she ended up picking me up, taking me over to my grandparents' house.
Wow.
Up in Corinth, Texas, and they just kind of said, well, look, these are the rules, and this is I said, I have no problem with rules. I'm just looking
oh my gosh.
So you're 14 years old. Imagine running away, Rob, and Amy, when you're 14.
And going so far. We're not talking about run away to your friend's house 2 blocks over. We're talking about cross-country travel here. So that gives you the backstory of how dedicated you were, an early age discovering risk and reinvention, which is probably why you are a risk taker and you kind of see things in a different way as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, but before we get to Michael's answer on that and all that, I want to make sure that everybody knows all across the social media today, we're live streaming.
Yes.
We're live streaming on Meerkat.
Are we on Meerkat or Periscope?
Periscope.
We're on Periscope,
we're Periscope today. At R. Anderson, all across social media. At R. Anderson Radio, at R. Anderson Radio, all across social media. At Amy Vanderhoff, you can find us there.
I wish you could smell in this room, because these guys have some kicking cologne on, and I am a big fan of men's cologne. I'm slightly turned on right now.
Oh, there you go.
A little bit.
So anyway, take us through, entrepreneurship, Michael. When did you first get the idea that you're going to be on Shark Tank tonight? Walk us through that whole process.
So it started at a young age. I worked for Boeing Aerospace and Defense at the age of 16. I got into an engineering internship program, and so I went through 6 different fields of engineering and took college courses online. So when I graduated at 18, I got picked up by a combustion engineering company and started
Graduated at 18 from college?
From high school.
Oh, I was going to say, dude, you're way ahead.
But and so I had a really good job at the age of 18 and bought my first house at 19. And
what?
So I realized at that point, if I had made it this far, that there's got to be more to it in life than just working an 8 to 5 and making a living. And so I knew that I needed more. I wanted more. And so I ventured out on my own 10 years ago with my first business, and I opened up a sports bar. And so I was 23 years old.
Did you really?
Oh, my
How'd
God.
that work out for
Well,
you?
23-year-old owning a bar.
Yeah.
I think I had more fun than I did, make money. And so, but I learned about real estate. I learned about SBA loans. I learned about, dealing with TABC and running a P&L and financials. And so that gave me the experience that I needed to eventually start my next business, which was a construction company that I have today. And I started that company with $24 9 years ago.
Wow.
And we've generated well over $15 million in revenue.
Oh, my gosh. Do we have an
And
applause
so-
track for Michael Ingle? This
So
is the
that's-
best story ever.
So that's what allowed me to start Clean Sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night with ideas, and I write on my wall, and I go on to GoDaddy.com or any of the other search engines that I can buy my website, so I can save and capture my ideas. And so I constantly am doing that. And so
You wake up in the middle of the night, get down your whiteboard, and write down your ideas.
No, I just write on the wall.
Did you just write on the
I
wall?
just repaint it. So-
You're in construction. Okay, I'm going to start doing that in my
That's
house.
cool.
Hey. So you just write that. So
So this brings us to Clean Sleep. This is the device that cleans mattresses. This is what got you on Shark Tank. So take us through. How did you get the call that, hey, you were selected as a contestant, and what's the submission process?
And what is it?
Sure.
What is your business?
Okay, so Clean Sleep is a company that uses revolutionary technology, and it's an automated process. So we show up to your house or your hotel or your place of business. We take your mattress after the linens are removed, and we insert it into this machine. And in 15 minutes, it goes through a 5-step process of UV light, steam, vacuum, heat, and ozone. And it's all happening simultaneously. And it neutralizes and deodorizes the mattress. It removes 99.9% of bacteria, molds, dust mites, viruses, and also bed bugs. We just got our testing done from the University of North Texas that yielded 100% kill rate in just 35 minutes in the machine.
Gosh.
Nice.
So I spent 4.5 years researching and developing the technology, and then 2.5 years building the prototype in my garage at home. And then we finally took it to market in 2014. So that's the company, and it's been a long time coming. It took us, a lot of iterations of the process and the machine, and,
How long did it take to get on Shark Tank?
So that was months and months and months. One of my best friends signed me up and submitted my information, and so they contacted me. And it was, the first phone call you get, you're kind of churning and you're nervous, and you don't know, if they're asking you trick questions and how to answer them. But it was a process, and so they asked me, for this, and that, send us this. And so, when they call, you do whatever it takes. They're kind of like worse than the IRS or the FBI, when you're in business. And so, there's very, very intense questions, very tight deadlines. And so it was months and months of interviews and questions, applications, financials, background checks, you name it.
So how did that phone call go when you found out you were going to be a contestant?
So that was, they tell you after you go and do your auditions, okay, well, if we want you on, we'll contact you in the next 6 weeks. So like 5 weeks, 6 days, 40, 4 hours later, you get a phone call, and they say, well, you're selected to come out and pitch to the Sharks, and now there's still no guarantee that something could happen or whatever. And so they wanted our machine in the tank. Well, our truck is too big to fit in the tank, and they didn't tell me this till like 2 weeks before. So now they wanted our stationary machine, which we hadn't completed the prototype yet. So we spent the next 2 weeks
slamming that
putting
together.
the prototype together. So
Oh
we
my
finished it at
gosh.
2:30 in the morning, went home, slept for an hour, came back, loaded it up, and we hit the road at 4 a.m. and drove 33 hours to get to.
But isn't that so indicative
LA.
of your story thus far? Isn't that that moment-to-moment feeling, that adrenaline rush? Okay,
Yeah.
I want to kind of even pause him because I want him to not reveal what happened until we come back from break.
Yeah, when we come back from break, we'll talk to Michael more. Got questions? So some of the things that he talked about is P&L statements, running businesses, okay? Because the first thing that you got to do is you got to run your personal P&L. That's your profit and loss. Are you making more money than you're spending and all that? Is his business, how's it done revenue-wise so far? I'm sure that you can talk about that potentially. But we'll talk about his other businesses, what's made him successful, his concrete business, because it's obvious that he is an entrepreneur, true entrepreneur. And when you take in $15 million of revenue, you're doing something right. So when we come back, we'll have more with Michael Ingle. He is on Shark Tank tonight. We have him very special guest in studio today. We are live streaming right now at our Anderson Radio. You can find us at Amy Vanderoff. You can find us all across Periscope. You can find us and Rob. What are we at Finance Friday?
Hashtag
Finance Friday. Hashtag.
There we go.
I still don't get all of that.
You don't get it all. Me neither, dude. I'm the worst in social media ever. That's why I pay them. Yeah. Hashtag.
Well, I call it when you put something on Facebook, you face post it. But I guess that's not the right.
You face post it. That's so cute.
Yeah, that's like you and me, right? Yeah,
Go
him and I
ahead.
got a lot in common over here. When Amy, Rob, and our very special guest, Michael Ingle, and myself, we will return in just a few moments. Very special guest today. He's airing on Shark Tank tonight, and so he can't tell us, he can't reveal. He'll have to call in Monday of next week. Hopefully he'll take a little bit of time with us and talk about what he's experienced on Shark Tank tonight. His name is Michael Ingle. If you missed earlier in the show, you need to go on and you need to hear his story. Listen to the previous part of our segment and all that. 14 years old, living in Minnesota, runs away from home. Not just runs away to Corinth, Texas.
Right.
With $120, and he spent $80 on the
On
Greyhound.
the ticket. Yep.
On the
that's right.
Greyhound?
Greyhound bus.
All right.
Wow.
And now he owns several different businesses. Will appear on Shark Tank tonight.
And he's walked us through kind of the process of getting to be an entrepreneur and getting to be on Shark Tank and driving out at the last moment with this prototype to present it to the sharks. So now you're in LA, right?
Right.
And what happens next?
So I'm in LA with the 16-foot box truck and another 20-foot trailer with our one stationary prototype, like the only one in the world, right? And if anybody's driven in LA traffic, I'm just on pins and needles, and people are honking and cussing, and I'm just like, I just got to make it to the studio, and I'll be good.
It's like he has this newborn baby in the back, like, nobody touch me.
Right. And I'd taken my R&D engineer with me, so I had him to help me set up, and I was like, you want to drive? He's like, nope.
Yeah.
And so 33 hours,
Wow.
like,
Oh, man.
You didn't stop.
Right.
And you
so,
got there.
Right. So we got there just in time to get the machine, unloaded and set up, and then it was back to the hotel room, and then the producers, call you and walk you through a bunch of things and ask you for some more information and for some more stuff and make sure they drill you and kind of prepare you for going into
What's
the tank.
going to happen?
Exactly.
So can you tell which of the 5 sharks were there?
Yeah, there's already been some information released on some images of me inside the tank, and so I was up against Mark Cuban, Barbara, Mr. Wonderful, Lori, and Robert.
All right. So you had a good
Traditional
team.
true.
You had
Yeah,
a good team out there.
Good team.
Of people, and this is airing on ABC tonight.
Yes, that's
So
correct.
it's the big show.
8 o'clock.
Okay, it's not the CNBC rerun tonight.
That's right.
It's the big show tonight. The entrepreneurship, when you're going and starting a business, okay, how much have you invested in this business?
I've invested about $2 million.
$2 million of your own money in it? Have you taken loans out to get into this business?
When you're an entrepreneur, you get very, very creative. And so it's a combination of, we launched the first franchise here in the DFW Metroplex. So we raised a little bit of capital to support the operating costs of that company. And the rest was, money out of my pocket and, leveraging assets and SBA loan and
everything else.
Everything you can. I mean,
have you had much profit from it?
So we have generated well over 6 figures in revenue since we've launched the company, but we're far from breaking even yet. But it's the initial cost. These machines are very, very expensive, and so you're looking at
that's why you're
almost
going to the yeah, and the machine and all that. His company's named Clean Sleep, and basically what he does is go in and gets rid of bed bugs, gets rid of the dust mites, everything.
Dead skin, he said.
And really, it's not a door to door where it's an individual. Yours is more of a business to business arrangement where you go into hotels,
hospitals,
all those things. And I'm sure you walked into some of these places and go, God. I would not ever stay here.
You know, I
this
had
is the crappiest
had an
place I've ever stayed at.
Right, yeah. So I had that idea when I launched this company. It's like, okay, who's my ideal target market? And now that we've been in business for, a couple of years, it's far from what I initially thought. So we service from the hotel down the street on the corner to some of the high-rise skyline hotels in the Metroplex. And we see these issues everywhere. So the next time you go stay at a hotel, just lift your sheets and take a picture and send it to us.
Really?
And,
I'm going to get your number.
Let us know.
Oh.
It's
Can
funny
you
because,
see bed bugs? Can you
yes,
see them?
they're like little ticks. So and smaller.
I don't ever want to lift my sheet. I don't even want to think about it.
There's people out there that have these experiences, that have these stories, okay?
Right.
People think, that can never happen to me. It happens to everyday people that are out there.
Okay, can we go back? You're in front of the Sharks. What's going on? I really want to know. When you're in that room, are you sweating? Are you nervous?
So
You're sleep deprived.
I was a little nervous. It's one of those things where I've pitched to venture capitalists and private equity and other investors, but you have dialogue and you've got follow-up and you've got second chances. When you're in that tank, that's it. All eyes are on you, and whatever time they allow you to have in the tank is all you get.
And their job is to be defensive, make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel like, they're not going to give you that great feedback or praise. It's a TV show.
Absolutely.
Who were you scared of the most?
Always Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful's the one that
he's right in the middle.
Yeah, he's
the one
front and center. He's the one just grinding, and you got that glare off his, head. And
yeah. So that's a legitimate glare, right?
Right. Yes. That's not just special effects.
Who is cooler, Lori or Barbara?
I don't know that I want to say.
Yeah, you don't know if you want to say.
But,
you can't
I loved them both.
Yeah. But most people would die to get that experience, get that entrepreneurial part. Everybody has an idea of a product, just like we talked about weeks ago. 83% of people want to write a book. That's one of the things they want to do. So many people say, I got a great idea. I want to be on that Shark Tank. Right. But the chances of you getting on that show you are, it's very tough.
There was 49,000 applicants for season 7.
49,000.
And they took 120-something.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
This is amazing.
Crazy.
This is dream come true kind of stuff. Could you ever have seen yourself partnered with a television show to
Never.
kind of propel your business?
And I'm the type person I'm kind of form, fit, and function. Like, I can tell you exactly how that machine works and, why it works, but I'm not the sales pitch, sham wow guy that is on TV. And the producers, they want that. When you're on TV to create emotion and, reactions and it's the Shark Tank gets the viewership from, the drama and from, the unpredictability in the show. And so that's what was tough for me to have to learn to kind of be more outspoken and, move around more and kind of create some emotion with.
So where will you be watching the episode from tonight?
So we've got a place up in Denton that we rented out a banquet room that we're going to be watching all that. It's called the Drunken Donkey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So we've got a huge big screen, TV, stadium seating. So
that'd be fun.
It must be pretty good news to have a little watch party.
Oh,
kidding,
wow.
Can we read into this?
Yeah, sounds like it.
I don't know.
Sounds kind of like it.
A lot of people are listening to our show out there, and a lot of our whole format of our show is about personal finance, about business, about relationships, and all that. One of the biggest things is, learning through all this thing and doing SBA loans, running businesses, and all that. What's some of the most important? How important is credit to these people out there?
Credit is very, very important to people out there. It's funny because when I started my first business at 23, we secured an SBA loan through Wells Fargo, which is, I think, in this building.
Oh, yeah, we call them Hells Fargo.
Yeah, we call them Hells Fargo.
So I was here 10 years ago signing paperwork, and at that time, when I closed, I had $55 left in my account, and that was on a Monday, and I wasn't going to get a paycheck till Friday. So I've been through the roller coaster of finances, but it's one of the things that you definitely have to, make sure that you are doing your best to plan. Planning is key. If you don't plan, I thought, being that I'd own a couple of other companies, that when I launched this company, I set aside $100,000 in 6 months, and I thought, that was a lot of money. It's a lot of money to anyone.
Yeah.
And 6 months comes and I'm well past that, and but now I'm in so deep, I'm like, okay, I know that this thing works, like I've got to keep going. So then I'm having to figure out, okay, like planning 6 months and then another year out, what am I going to need? What are my resources? And how am I going to get there? So.
And whether you get your idea bought or not tonight on Shark Tank on ABC, Michael will be on ABC tonight, whether you get your idea or not bought, the exposure, just the individual exposure from some individual that could say, I want that. Some hotel chain that says, I need that, out there. That was a risk that you can take, but there's money opportunities no matter if people win or lose.
Yep.
Of course you want to get dealt up and put together with these guys, but there's still opportunities just being on the show, one of the 120 out of 49,000.
Are you single?
I'm single. I'm dating.
Okay.
I'm dating.
But,
because you're going to meet people like me who will only, will date you for your money and your fame and fortune. Rodney, what advice would you give?
What advice would I give them?
What advice would you give him to stay away from women like me?
Yeah. There are all kinds of, I can't even say the word on the show. Yeah. No. Yeah. And we're all crazy.
Hablo español.
Yeah.
Suficiente para no estar en problemas.
Yeah.
I can speak your love language.
Hey, we're all messed up. Just to what extent are you, right? That's what you have to learn. And, you have to check out the gold diggers out there, right? Yeah,
it's tough. There's a lot of things that you sacrifice as an entrepreneur, and one of those things is obviously me being able to create and start a family, and so that's hopefully in my near future and in my plans. But I lived a very, very rough childhood and a broken childhood, and I just made a vow to myself that I was never going to put any of my kids through that same scenario, and so
that's awesome.
That's why I'm just focusing on me, and once I can make myself happy, then I can worry about making somebody else happy.
Do you know what time you're on Shark Tank tonight?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
I don't know exactly what time, but the show's an hour long and it starts at 8.
Starts at 8, so sometime during the show. You don't know the exact time. Michael Ingle is his name. Watch him on Shark Tank tonight, ABC, or if you're going to be out, DVR it.
Yes.
Make sure.
And what's your website, by the way? How do we find
www.cleansleep.com.
Easy, cleansleep.com. We got it.
Can we have a phone call with you Monday for like 10 minutes to get the outcome?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll get all of this stuff.
And all the dirt, too.
Yeah, and then what we'll do is we'll do checkups with you to see how the business is going. Because we don't know how he's done.
We're
he can't reveal how
Michael's
he's done.
project here.
And we can start talking about which hotels are Clean Sleep certified here in the metro.
There you
so
go.
People are looking for a place to stay.
And we do a lot of loans, residential loans for executives of hotels.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
so we
I
do
live
know
in a
people.
one-bedroom house right now.
You're in a one-bedroom house?
Yes.
Dude, if you want a chick, you got to get going. Okay? We got to get you into a 3 or 4 bedroom.
Me and my dad built the house, and I only built enough to satisfy myself right now.
I don't even know that one-bedroom house exists.
Yeah.
They don't. I know. I've tried to get a loan for it. No one wants to loan
That's
me
right.
money on a one-bedroom house. So.
All right. Michael Ingle is his name. Michael, thanks for joining Amy and Rob and myself today. It's great to see you. You can we're live streaming right now. You can see Michael right now. We'll keep him in the studio for a few more minutes. On Periscope, you can find us, or at R Anderson Radio all across social media.